What's your favorite piece of cookware? Today we'll be taking a look at one of my favorite pieces of cookware, the Dutch oven. And this here is the 7 quart by Misen. If you haven't already, please consider supporting the channel by hitting that like and subscribe button. We also have an IG knife shop that we sell some knives to support the channel. And we also have a merch store where you can help further support this madness. Quick disclaimer, Misen sent over these Dutch ovens for me to review. However, they're not paying me for this video, nor am I affiliated with the company. They also understand that all of my reviews and feedback are 100% honest and of my own. And as always, this is a first impression video. We'll come back here in 6 months to see how these babies hold up. Like the wok, the Dutch oven is one of the most versatile pieces of cookware in the kitchen. And in my humble opinion, you can't have too many Dutch ovens. My wife would probably tell you that is a bit of a problem around here. But let's go ahead and jump straight in and take a look at this Dutch oven. First, let's take a look at the price. This Misen retails for $165. But Misen is constantly running sales between 20 to 25% off. So it is safely to say, with a little bit of patience, you can pick this guy up for about $124 to $135. And this is in comparison to the same size French counterparts to 7 quart that retails for between $300 to $400. Now, one of the biggest selling points of the 𝐒𝐿 is their lifetime warranty. Misen actually also offers a lifetime warranty. It actually says on their website that if anything happens to your pot, they will replace it, no questions asked. Now, Misen also offers a 60-day trial period. That means you can test these guys out for 60 days. And if you decide not to keep it within those 60 days, they will refund 100% of your money. Just say, outside of personal preference on which one of these brands you decide to support or which one you like better, one of the biggest selling points of the 𝐒𝐿 is the wide range of beautiful colors that they offer. Currently, Misen offers this black one, the green one I have in the back. They have a gray one, a blue one, and also a red one. Now, one of the other selling points of the Misen is that it either comes with a traditional lid or you can choose a grill lid. So the grill lid has a grilling pan in it and it just goes right on top of it. So that's another selling point, and there's no extra cost to it. You can just pick whether or not you want the grill lid or the traditional lid. Now let's go over the physical specs of these Dutch ovens. It has a 7 quart capacity. The height of the Dutch oven without a lid is 5 inches tall. With this traditional lid, it is about 7.25 inches. And with the grill lid, it is 6.5 inches tall. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the dimension. The dimension on the inside from lip to lip, it is 10.75 inches. And the cooking surface that you have is between 9.25 to 9.5 inches for the cooking surface. From handle to handle is 15 inches wide, and it is a 5 millimeters thick pot. Next, let's take a look at the weight. Without a lid, this is 10.6 pounds. With the traditional lid, it clocks in at 16 pounds on the dot. And with the grill lid, it is 16.8 pounds. Now, it is a little bit heavier in comparison to the 𝐒𝐿. The 7.25 quart 𝐒𝐿 is about 14 pounds. But it does weigh about the same as the Staub counterpart, which the 7 quart Staub 𝐂𝐀 is about 16 pounds as well. Now let's take a look at the material that this is made out of. This is an enamel-coated cast iron Dutch oven. Misen actually advertised that these Dutch ovens are more durable than their more expensive competitor at a fraction of the price. So let's go ahead and take a look at the coating system. The enamel coating system, from my research for both 𝐒𝐿 and Staub, is that they have a 3-layer coating system. They have a base coat, a color coat, and then a darker color coat that creates that beautiful gradient color that they have. Whereas in comparison, the Misen has a 4-layer system. They have a base coat, a cover coat, a color coat, and also a sealing coat. So in comparison to the Staubs, this has 4 layers of enamel in comparison to their 3 layers of enamel. Now let's go ahead and move on and take a look at the fit and finish of these Dutch ovens. Now, one of the first things that I've noticed is that on these traditional lids, this knob here is a little loose when it comes in. One of the reasons why I actually have 2 of these Dutch ovens is that for this green one, when it was in shipment, the knob actually completely came off. And while the knob was still loose in the lid, it actually chipped the enamel on the lid. And because it was shipped like this, the knob fell into the pot and was rattling around inside the pot while it was in shipment. So I contacted Misen's customer service, and they immediately sent me a replacement, which is the black one there. And when I unboxed that black one, I also noticed that the knob was just slightly loose. Like, it was very slightly loose that needed a little bit of tightening up. But after tightening it up, I inspected it. There was no damage whatsoever. And honestly, this is probably a pretty good testament on how good Misen's customer service is and how durable these pots are. Because truth be told, Having this super heavy metal knob banging around the inside of this pot for several days while being manhandled by UPS or FedEx is way rougher than I'll ever be with wooden utensils. And yeah, I mean, when I got the pot, it was rattling on the inside and there's not a single scratch, chip, or damage inside the pot. So that, I mean, that's a pretty good testament on how durable the coating is on these pots. Now, after some slight investigation, the knob being loose, I think is more of a packaging issue rather than a manufacturing issue. Because after looking at the packaging, the way these lids are packed inside the cardboard, there's quite a bit of wiggle room in there. And when this is wiggling around inside that packet or that package, there's a lot of pressure that gets put on these knobs. And it is not uncommon for these knobs to come a little loose, even on other different types of Dutch ovens after some use. So I think because it's sliding around inside that package, it eventually worked this knob loose and in return damaged the lid, or it can come loose. So a remedy to that, I would think, is putting just a little bit of extra packaging material inside how the lid is packaged to keep it from sliding around, and that will probably solve this issue of a loose knob. Now let's take a look at the rest of the fit and finish by looking at the coating and the casting of these Dutch ovens. Now, a telltale sign of a good casting is a tight-fitting and even lid. The sign of a bad casting or low quality control is an uneven and wobbly lid. The reason you'll want a tight-fitting lid on your Dutch oven is so that it keeps a constant cooking environment inside the Dutch oven. That's how they're meant to work. So if you have a wobbly or uneven lid that leaks quite a bit of the air or the heat out of it, that defeats the purpose of a Dutch oven. So whenever you do shop for a Dutch oven, check for a tight-fitting lid. And let's take a look at the rest of the casting. The rest of the casting actually looks really nice. I don't feel any sharp spots left over of the casting through this enamel. So that means that they have probably a pretty good casting to begin with, and they took the time to, I guess, deburr or take off any of the harsh spots in the Dutch oven before they coated it. Now, speaking of coating, this coating is very even. I don't see any uneven spots or lighter spots. I do notice that they have some really, really minuscule blemishes on both the green and the black one I have in the back. And the way these blemishes look will not affect the functionality of these pots, and it's definitely not a deal breaker. I have a Staub pan here, a Staub enamel pan here, and these blemishes are also on the Staub pans as well. So it seems like that these blemishes are an acceptable quality control thing, even for Staub and Le Creuset pans. So not a deal breaker at all, and it does not affect the functionality of the pots whatsoever. Now, lastly, these are the features that I personally look for when I shop for a Dutch oven. I look at the shape of the Dutch oven, the interior color, and also, lastly, the most crucial part, the handles and the knobs. Now, personally, I like a more vertical / conical shape on my Dutch ovens, and I'm not a big fan of the more bowl-shaped ones. The reason I like the more vertical walls on there is that it opens up the bottom to allow for a bigger cooking surface, and it gives you a little bit more room to work with. Now, next, let's take a look at the interior color. I'm actually really happy that Misen decided to go with this white enamel on the inside. The reason I like the white enamel on the inside is that it makes the food a little bit easier to see. When you have a black interior like the Staubs do, it's really hard to see the fond and the fond development on the pan when you're trying to do a searing. And also, if you're making something like a roux, you have to be able to look at the color of the roux to decide whether or not your roux is at the color level that you want it to be. So yeah, this white interior just makes your ingredient a lot easier to see. Now, lastly, the most crucial part of a Dutch oven, the handles and the knobs. I love these extra large handles that they have on here. These oversized handles are amazing. Now, the reason you want a decent sized knob and big handles on these is that usually you're going to be handling quite a bit of ingredients in here. So this is already a 16-pound pot by itself, right? And when it's filled with ingredients, it gets really heavy. And when it's piping hot coming out of the oven, you need to have plenty to grab onto to maneuver the pot. So especially when you have oven mitts on, if you have small handles, you can see how it can create a big problem. Whereas right here, I have an oven mitt on. I can actually stick my oven mitt through this hole and you can still get into it. And I have a very, very secure grip on it. Same with the knob. It gives you plenty of room to grab, or we can even test it out with a towel. Plenty of room to grab. So it just allows you more space to get a secure grip on an already heavy pot. Now this wraps up our first impression of the Misen Dutch Oven, and I'm going to go test these guys out. Now, if you guys have any good ideas on how to test these babies out, definitely comment down below. I love hearing back from you guys, and I love talking to you. So definitely comment down below. I'm probably not going to do a bunch of vigorous, like crazy durability tests like Misen did, where they took like a steel ball and dropped it from different heights and things like that. That's just not practical or realistic to me. I'll probably just put these through the paces on regular day-to-day use and see how they hold up, because I feel like that's a more realistic test. But if you guys have any cool ideas that you want to share on how to test these guys out, definitely let me know and I'll try to see if I can include them. Now, like I said, this wraps up our first impression of the Misen Dutch Oven video, and I hope you guys do like it. If you do like it, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It would mean the world to me and help me support all this madness. And I will see you guys next week.